I have a lot of sympathy for the people that are entering the workforce today, people who are graduating from high school or college. They're going to face some obstacles that none of us have ever faced before in the history of this country. Many of them are not going to be able to find jobs. They're facing an economy which is almost at depression level, that's imploding. They're facing threats of terrorism, a surveillance state. They're facing a permanent military force which is draining the economy. They're facing broken families, divorces, completely being institutionalized all their lives, lacking parental involvement. They're attending schools that sometimes not only look like prisons, but act like prisons, facing zero tolerance policies, kids being thrown out of school for having Midol or Alka-Seltzer. So facing amazing pressures. And the question that we have to face is, will these kids relent? Will they come out and be great citizens? Will they help change the face of this country? Us older folks have blown it. We've left them with a ravaged land. Can they do something? I think they can. And in a commentary I've written called The Things That Matter, a graduation message, which you can download and read on our website at rutherford.org, I go into some things I think that young people can do. Be an individual. As I tell young people, or anybody I meet, you're a unique person. You are an individual. You don't have to fit in. You can go against the flow. The greatest people of history, and you name them, are unique people who thought they were unique. They just didn't stand in line and become very bland. You can be an individual. Resist the corporate state. And what I mean by that is we become a society that consumes. And consumption is a drug. What it does, it distracts us from the realities of life. There's a great book by a fellow named Chris Hedges called Empire of Illusion, where he goes into what has happened to us. We live in corporate homes. We live in schools built by corporations, prisons built by corporations. We're institutionalized there. We eat corporate food. We're totally corporate dominated. And at some point, we're going to have to break out of that mold. It goes back to my original point. To be individuals, we're going to have to do that. We have to move away from seeing everything as total consumption and start producing again in this country. Realize that one person can make a difference. Individuals in history, lone people, have changed the course of history. Look at Gandhi. He made a decision of nonviolent resistance against the British Empire. He started out as an individual. Sooner or later he collected more and more people, and finally he brought the greatest empire to its knees and freed his people. You look at other people like Martin Luther King. They did the same. One person can make a difference. Help others. It's my firm belief that we're here on this planet to do one thing, that's help one another. If we all took that position in life, we wouldn't have wars, we wouldn't have all the terrible things we see if we just look at each other in the eye and realize that that person across from us is a unique human being and they need help. And realize this, that most of us can't get through life without help from others. If you want to help your country, learn your rights. Most people have no idea what's in the Constitution, and they even know less about the Bill of Rights. I hear a lot of complaining and moaning about loss of freedoms, but I don't see a lot of action. So what's the thing you need to do? Learn your rights. The Ruff Institute will give anybody, any student, free or any person out there, our Bill of Rights pamphlet that you can read that will inform you of your rights. The one reason we're losing our rights in this country is that we don't know our rights. If more of us knew our rights, we'd be standing up and fighting back. Speak truth to power. Don't be naive. James Madison, who wrote the Bill of Rights, said we ought to mistrust all those in power. And what he meant by that is that people who assume power, most of the time, sorry to say folks, most of the time they abuse that power. So when we see them stepping out of line, we have to stand up and speak truth to them and tell them they're out of line. You can do it as an individual or you can do it as a group. Don't let technology be your God. I'm afraid that we have become so consumed with technology that we're starting to mimic the inhumanness of technology. So what I say to young people is, and to anybody else, pull those earbuds out of your ears, stop watching the screen all the time, and get out and enjoy real life. What these gadgets do is they blind us to a lot of the tragedies that are happening in the world. We're not paying attention. We're too obsessed by celebrities and all the pseudo events that we're fed by the media. Give voice to moral outrage. There is genocide occurring in Darfur. Africa is being ravaged by AIDS. 14 million children in America go to bed every night hungry, some starving. Homeless people litter the streets. We should be morally outraged by that, speaking up and getting out and helping other folks. Cultivate spirituality. And let me quote Martin Luther King here. We as a nation must undergo a radical revolution of values. We must rapidly begin the shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society. When machines and computers, profit motive, and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. What Martin Luther King is saying here is we have to put people first. But most of the time, our materialism, our worldly comforts stop us from doing that. Martin Luther King was a Christian minister. He understood that spirituality is very important. We need to see each other for what we really are, as unique human beings before our God. And we need to step out and help people. Unfortunately, many of our young people today haven't learned many values, and they don't learn any in school and very few of their families. And people are starting to see life as meaningless. In fact, a large section of our young people, when polled, see life as meaningless. So what do we need to do? We need to recover our spirituality and learn one thing for sure, that materialism will not fill up that spiritual void, and start putting people first. Finally, impact your country and join the dialogue. Don't stand around on the sidelines. It doesn't matter what your ideology is, whether you're conservative or a liberal or whatever it is, or how old you are or how young you are. Those are just labels. Those things should not limit you. When you see something you don't like, you need to speak up. And most of all, if you don't like what's doing, grab a picket sign and stand out in front of that building that is committing the things you don't like. Again, it doesn't matter who agrees with it. You have a right to do that. Stand up and speak out. And when you feel the time has come for enough is enough, then exercise your rights, because that's the only way we're going to save them. The future of our country is going to rest with this younger generation taking that kind of advice to heart and acting for freedom.